Alrighty, so it's been a little bit since I've posted anything, so I thought it'd be about time that I live stream something just to get something out to you guys. So the new site is coming along great. The homepage is all populating for the user and everything. All of the sub pages and everything are pretty much hammered out. One of the last things remaining that I do need to do is add a sitemap to it. Now I have the user-facing sitemap already populated within the footer there, but what I need is one for search engines. So if we were to go to the current site and go to sitemap.xml, we'll get an XML version of the sitemap that contains all of the links within the actual site, along with how much they should be re-requested or checked for, and then what their priority on the site is. Obviously the home page being the most priority, and then series and topics and lessons from there. So thought we'd do a little live stream where we kind of recreate that XML sitemap within the new site. So really only two things within the old site that took care of this. I had a service that really just queried the information, generated out the actual structure, and then we had the controller function that actually generated out what the response should look like and sent it along as XML. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Within the current project, I do believe I have a syndication controller already created. And what this one's taking care of currently is just the user-facing sitemap. So it's not querying a whole lot of information. The one for Google will be querying a lot more because this user-facing one is just more of a generic listing. But yeah, so to start out with, what we're going to want is an actual controller endpoint to show the XML version. So let's do public async XML. And this will want a response, and that should actually be it. And then this will be HTTP context contract. And then from there, let's see. So we'll probably go straight into wanting to get the information. And then we'll have our response.header. We'll want to set the content type to application XML, response.header, here, header again. This one will be content encoding, which will be gzip. And then let's see here. So let's start with that for right now. Now, I believe I was using a package on the old one. Not within there. So we have zlib for creating the actual gzip, and then we have, it looks like sitemap for creating the sitemap stream. So I'm going to go ahead and install those two dependencies. So that was npm I sitemap and zlib. Okay, looks like we have those. All right. So whenever it comes to the actual sitemap package, what we are going to want to do is pass it in the underlying host name. So let's wrap this inside of a try catch. Okay, and then let's do const sitemap stream equals new, and let's see if we can get this to autocomplete here. Sitemap, yep, there it is, sitemap stream, and then we just want to pass it the host name. In this case, it's going to be https://jaeger.co. All right, and then we're going to want to pipe into our sitemap stream. So let's do, if I can spell, pipeline sitemap stream, whoops, sitemap stream, dot pipe, and then we'll want to actually create. Let's see if this will create gzip, and that should be just fine, just like that. And then let's see here. Actually, so from cache, if exists. So let's try to get the information from the cache if we can. So we'll do const sitemap equals, and then for right now, let's just do an empty array, and this will be from the cache. We'll set the getter for that here in a second. But if sitemap, and actually we just set this to null because if it's not in the cache, it won't come back as anything. We will do response dot send the sitemap, and we'll want to kick that off right there. Otherwise, once we've created all this stuff, this is where we'll want to actually get the info if it's not cached. And from here, that's where we would want to probably plop that off into a service. So let's jump down to our services. I don't think I have a syndication service, so let's go ahead and create that real quick. All right. Actually, yeah, that'll be fun. Okay. So for the old one here for the syndication service, I had types defined within the service itself. I'm going to go ahead and plop those, just copy, if I can, oh, what am I trying to do here? I'm going to go ahead and copy those into a contract file. So let's go down to contracts, and let's create a new file here as well called syndication. And I'm just going to plop those in there. So we have sitemap item, which contains the URL, the change frequency, and the priority, which aligns with, if I still have it open, what the actual XML items are. And then we just have the frequency, which is what the change frequency values should be, which is either daily, weekly, or monthly. So now that we have that in there, let's go back into our syndication service. And so first and foremost, we're going to want to cache this if we can. So let's do public static. Let's do sitemap cache key. That'll be a string, and we'll just cache that as sitemap. And then we'll want a public static let's see. So on the old one here, it looks like I had a getter and I had the sitemap key actually private. We could mimic that. Don't think we need to. And then there is how I was checking it. So I do still have that cache service. It does integrate with a different cache now. It integrates with Redis. So let's go back up into our controller and go ahead and get that going out. So instead of that, we can do, well, let's do a get directly within our syndication service instead of doing it outside. So we can switch this to private, I guess, and then let's do public static get sitemap from cache or something like that. And then we will do return cache service. It looks like my autocomplete gave up on me. Oh no. Cache service, or I just can't spell. Nope, it did give up. Well, shucks. All right, let me switch files real quick. Let's go into you and then back into you. Let's see if that fixed it. It did not. All right, I'm going to close it real quick. And let's see if that fixed it. So public static, there we go. All right. get sitemap from cache. Now at this point we want to return cache service. There you are. Dot get. And then this dot sitemap cache key. Is this async? I cannot remember. Yes, it is. So we'll want this to be public static async. And yeah, there we go. Hey man, I plan on getting back to recording new things. Well, I'm hoping to record in between now and May, but I don't intend on actually posting any new recordings until we reach May. Once we reach May, that's whenever I'll be in my new house and I'll have everything set up and I won't have to deal with packing or anything like that anymore. So just going to kind of take this time in between now and May to get some recordings in place, and then you should start seeing some new stuff in May. So should be early May. Yeah, so I'd say the first week of May, we should get something out. And then from there, it should be pretty much weekly, hopefully. So we have the get sitemap from cache, and we have that, oop, that's not where I meant to go. We have that in our syndication controller. Where are you? Here you are. No, we do not. So let's go ahead and do that. So const sitemap equals await syndication service dot get sitemap from cache. So now if we get the sitemap from the cache and it does exist, then we can just return that cached version. Otherwise, we need to try and generate it, and that's where this would come into play down here. So we'll start on that next. So we're going to have the intro function for this that takes care of kind of generating and populating everything together as probably, I guess, generate sitemap would make the most sense. And then ultimately what we'll want this to do is return back a promise of sitemap item as an array. So first and foremost, what we're going to want to do within here is actually query out all of our different information. So we're going to have our series, topics, lessons, and blog posts. And then from there, we'll do each like subordinate page or whatever you want to call it as individual stuff from there. So like we're going to have a section for frequently asked questions, resources, uses. And then if we take a look at the footer, there's some stuff for like guidelines, contact, the visual sitemap, cookies, privacy terms, and all that fun stuff. So all that stuff can go in there just manually defined, but this stuff needs to be dynamically pulled. Actually, these are going to be database generated, the frequently asked questions and resources. But for right now, those are empty, so I'll just put those in there manually at this point. So this will be a good starting point. So for our series, we're going to have await, and trying to think if I have something in the series service for this that would be useful. I want to say no. So let's just query it directly off of our collection model. Oops. Yes, there we go. All right. And then from here, we specifically want to just grab the series. Don't plan on populating playlists or courses at this point in time. And then let's see. From this, all that we should need is the slug. So I have well, I guess I should change the name of that. So I have this function defined. Where do I have that defined? That is within my query builder provider called select IDs. Now this will execute the query and then just select the ID column. Ideally, I guess that should just be named select column since it doesn't specifically need to be an ID. And then this series function will kick off a query builder, and then it will execute a where statement to make sure that it's of type series. So that's just a nice little shorthand that I have there. So I'm going to go ahead and just do select IDs. This won't make any sense at this present point in time, and name this. I think I just need the slug. Let's check and see whether or not that's the right. So at work, they're called aliases. I think I call them slugs. Where am I here? Collections. Did I click on it? Yes, I did. Yes, slugs. All right. And that should really be it for our series. Oh, wait a minute. Dot where public. I have another query builder helper that will specifically do this for the type where it is public. So build that into there, and we have a nice simple query for all of our series right there. And we can do the same thing for topics. Await top. The model for this is called taxonomy. And then trying to think, do I just want the roots of the taxonomies, or do I want all of the children as well? So like if we go into topics, any taxonomy is technically a topic. But then these are all of the root level ones. And then like if we were to click on AdonisJS, there's subtopics within it. So you have like the ACLI, authentication. I guess it would make sense. So let me see, do I have these as, no, they are root level. So like if I were to go in the HTTP context, it's still the same URL. So let's just query all of them. We'll get the roots first. So we'll call these, I guess, root topics. And then we'll do child topics below that as a lower priority. So we'll do roots. And that's similar to the series. It's just going to kick off query builder where it's specifically a taxonomy that doesn't have a parent ID. Those are not, those don't have a state ID. And then so here it should just be select the slug from that as well. And then we'll do const child topics await. And I don't think I have a helper like roots for this, but we can go ahead and bake that in. This might be the only use case where I would need it, but let's see, I always lose my models. There they are. Taxonomy. I need to clean my screen off. It's super dusty. Where are you, roots? There it is. All right. So just a simple public static. I guess just children. And then that's just a simple where not null. Parent ID. You could probably just do the conditional parent ID in there. Of type number. Default that to null. Actually, I don't think you need a question mark in there, do you? Is that just squiggly because it's not used? It's not assignable to type number or null. There we go. And then we could do if parent ID return this query dot where parent ID is parent ID. Otherwise, just get it where it's null, not null. Alrighty, so that should do it for that. So then we could do children. We don't want a parent ID there, and then we can just do select IDs for slug. Again, I need to rename select IDs to just like select column or something like that. Hey, Tina. Thanks for stopping by. So that should do it for our topics. And then we have our lessons, which, well, you know what? Let's add an order to these as well. I guess that would make sense, wouldn't it? So let's order by I guess let's have the newer ones first. Does that make sense? Okay, I guess. So created at descending. Dang it. Missed my shift key. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So we'll do newer ones first. Well, let's do this alphabetically. It'll be easier to verify that we're getting everything that way. Order by name, ascending for name. There we go. Okay. And then for lessons, that goes off of the post model dot lessons dot, and then from there I want apply. I want to apply a scope, and the scope is to ensure that the post is published. And then we'll do our order by from there. That one would be title, ascending, select IDs for select. Yeah, they're all selects. All right, so there's our lessons. And let's just change this to posts, and then we'll group them all within there. So const lessons, const posts equals await post dot, I think I named them post. Nope, I'm gonna name them blogs. All right, rename this to match that. Apply scope. Now I don't think I have any blogs populated yet, so that will be empty. But we'll go ahead and take care of them because I intend on publishing some here soon. Ascending, select ID, select. Okay, so if I have this working properly, these should come back as just an array of slugs. If not, then we'll find out. But like, so if I were to go into Tinker here, or Tinker, REPL, node ace REPL, load models, and we do await models collection dot series dot where public dot select IDs slug. We should just get back an array of slugs, and that we do. So this seems to be working all right. So you should be able to expect that for all of these. So now that we have the dynamic information that we're going to need to make this sitemap something, next what we want to do is actually create the items. And then from there we can go ahead and excuse me, kind of map everything together. So we're going to have a private static function called make. This will take in the URL of type string, the change frequency of type frequency, and that did not want to. What do I got going on here? Oh, I was putting that inside of the generator. Okay, my bad. Okay, there we go. I guess frequency already auto imported because it doesn't have a squiggly on it, so that should be okay. And then the last one will be the priority, which I think that would just be type number. And then we can default that to half item. And then here we'll return back a finalized sitemap item from here. So what we want to do is pretty much just return back an object of those arguments. So we'll have URL, change frequency, and priority. I kind of prefer this approach over, just inline creating an object over and over again, mapping or naming the keys of the object over and over again for each item. So now that we have this, we can go ahead and start our actual URL collection. So we'll do let URL, well, no, we can actually make this a const URLs equals, let's specify this as a sitemap item array equals an array. And then here we'll go ahead and define our top level hard-coded URLs. So we can do this dot make. I'm just going to hard code the URL in here since they're pretty short. Do weekly for that one, and then the priority for this, since it is the home page, will be 1.0. And then I'm going to go ahead and I believe all of these are the same. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste this instead of writing it all. There we go. So we're essentially just making a sitemap item for our home page, our series landing page, topics landing page, lessons landing page, and our blog landing page. Obviously, the blog landing page is going to be less important than all of the other ones. So once we have that in place, then what we can do is go through and add in all of our dynamic items. So for that, we're going to want kind of a different helper from make. We're going to want something like a private static function called map, and this will take the route name as a string, any params. What is that? That's x. It's been a while since I've wrote this. X string any. I think that's accurate. And then the change frequency is frequency, and let's default that to weekly. And then the priority is, again, a type of number, and we'll default that to 0.5. And then this 2 will return back a sitemap item for the arguments passed in here. So we can do const URL, and then what we're going to want to do is use the route module to actually just generate out this URL. So let's do make URL. We'll pass in the route name along with those defined parameters. Shouldn't need any query strings or anything like that for this. It should just be simple to leave it as the route name and params. And then if we do not get back a URL from that make URL, if it's not mapped for whatever reason, then we would want to just return this dot make, define it as a hard-coded URL with the change frequency and the priority. I guess we want to make that or undefined. That's how I had it in the old one. Yes, that is how I had it in the old one. Okay. All right, so that should be good for the mapping one. So now we'll want to go through and actually just map each of, so our series, topics, and posts, so that we get those items actually created. So we can do series.map, and we'll just loop over each and every series that we have. And then this will be the slug, since we've specifically selected just the slug value as we've tested here. So it's just be an array of strings with those slug values. And then we'll want to append this into our URLs. So this will be URLs dot push this dot add. Oh, we need to make that yet, don't we? What was that? Oop, wrong file. I don't think we need that. I don't know why. I had it in there for some reason in the old one, but I guess I needed to do conditional determination for that. But we should not need that in this one. So it should just be a simple push. This dot map. And then the route name for our series should be series.show. And so map is pretty much just matching like the make URL format here. And then we'll have slug right in there, and it does not like that. Why? Series came back as a number? Huh. That's peculiar. Promise number, huh? What in the world? Is that doing it for all of us? Yeah, it is. Huh. That's odd. Do I have that? I've used that elsewhere. That's kind of odd. Okay. I guess let me take a look at the contract definition for that and see exactly what I have that coming back is. Worst case scenario, I'll overwrite it. Where is that? Database. Select, oh, sure enough. Oh yeah, because it's IDs. Right. All right. So I guess that would specifically just be a number there, wouldn't it? All right. Tell you what, let's go ahead and create a different one then. So let's do model query builder macro select column async function. We'll leave that one as just the ID, and then we'll do this one as column name string equals. I guess we'll just make that required. And then we'll do const results equals await this dot select column name return results dot map r column name, and it doesn't like something I have here. Here we go. Parentheses in the wrong spot. Okay. So we have that. Now let's go ahead and just add that into here. So let's see, I did that after that. So this will be select column. Oops. To go back and check the name of that. Yeah, select column. Column name, string. And then we should just be able to do something similar to the first or up here, I think. Equals undefined, return back, promise of T. Array. I think. I don't know. We'll test it. Worst case scenario, I'll just put an as in there for right now. So change this to select column. I don't know, I feel like that's wrong, but let's see here. Is that returning back? Oh, an undefined array. All right, that makes sense. I'm just going to hard code that as a string for right now. It's not going to hurt anything. Yeah. Oh, wait, no, that needs to be a string array. There we go. Okay. Not ideal, but it'll work for right now. And we'll just map, switch all of these to that. Okie dokie. So now this should be happy, maybe. Argument of type sitemap item is not assignable to parameter of type. Oh, okay. Oh, that's why I had this dot add, because they were nullable, and if it came back as null, then yeah, you don't want to add it, do you? So okay, yeah, we could do that. Private static add, or I guess let's just do push. We'll do add. Switch that to a let. We'll do URLs equals this. If I can spell this dot add, and then we'll do add here. And I think this needs to take in URLs. Right, because this would return back. Okay. So I think do sitemap items there as an array of sitemap item, and then no condition. So this is the actual array, and then this is gotcha. And then conditional add as a sitemap item array or undefined. There we go. So then we'll do if not conditional add, and just return URLs. Otherwise, return URLs and conditional add. This is just one item, isn't it? Sitemap item, yeah. There we go. All right. So now what's the squiggly about? Expected 2 arguments but got 1 because add needs to take in those URLs. All right. Probably a cleaner way to do that, but I'll stick with how I had it prior for right now. It'll work. All right. And then we'll do root topics. Switch this to 3. That way these individual items have a higher priority than blog posts. I think that makes more sense. Because then these will come in at the default of 0.5. So root topics slug URLs equals, and then we just need to pretty much do the exact same thing for this. This one would be topics.show slug. And all right. Dang it. There we go. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and do our lessons, because those would have a higher priority. Well, no, we'll go ahead and do our child. And then on the map, we want to change the priority. So we'll do, this should be frequency, if I broke that out in the right spot. I did not. Weekly, we'll keep that the same. And then this one, let's leave this as 0.5, and let's change these to 0.7. I think. Oh, what am I doing? And then this one we'll leave as default of 0.5, but I'll go ahead and hard code that just so that it's easily visual. All right, so there's our child topics, and then we want to do our lessons and our blogs. So we'll do lessons.map slug URLs equals this dot add URLs, this dot map. Should be lessons.show slug weekly. That one we would want to be 0.7, 0.6 maybe. And then blogs.map slug URLs equals this dot add URLs this dot map. I think this is posts dot show. And then this one we'll go ahead and do 0.3. Have it be the same as its landing page, I guess. And we'll do one less. Okay, so that should really be it for generating out all of our URLs. At this point in time, we should have all of our URLs populated so that we can return them back. So now we can call our generate sitemap from our syndication controller. So this would be something like const URLs equals await syndication service dot generate sitemap. It'd probably make more sense to do generate sitemap URLs. Get, yeah, I like that better. Get sitemap URLs. Okay, because you're not actually generating the sitemap in there. You're really not generating it until you actually create the XML items. So let's see, we have the pipeline up there. We have our URLs here. So let's map over our URLs and add them to our sitemap stream. And then we want to convert our stream to a promise, pass it in our pipeline, which is our creating a gzip from this. And then our sitemap, we would want to cache service dot set, and no, let's put that in here. Public static async set sitemap in cache save sitemap. Not gonna get picky over the name right now. Cache service dot, and then we should have a set this sitemap cache key, and then this will take in, I don't even know what that would be. What would that be? So it doesn't want to give me a type. Oh, it's a buffer. I'm just gonna do let's try setting it to a buffer and let's see whether or not it'll take it. So sitemap cache sitemap. Okay. And then we can get rid of this cache service and instead do that through our syndication service. That way we don't need to specify the cache key out here and it will be done within it. So set sitemap, yeah, and then SM. And it looks like it accepted it okay, so I guess that is indeed a buffer. And then what we want to do is sitemap stream dot end and send the stream on off. So response dot stream our pipeline. And then if we get an error at all, let's go ahead and just console.log that out. And send off a 500. Okay. Last thing that we need to do here, I think, is set it up to a route. So I have the public one right here. I'm just going to go ahead and plop the XML version right after that. So we just do this as a get sitemap.xml. I think we just named that XML. Okay. So if I did everything in that correctly, we should be able to go to I need to get the website owner on the phone, let them know about this. Let's see. Doesn't look like I got an error. Oh, wait a minute. Is my shell even started? Or shell. Server? It would have to be because I was clicking around before, wouldn't it? But where? I'm going to go ahead and just restart this. I don't know what happened. Oh. Okay. Somehow had another one open. So let's see. Cannot read properties of null, reading replace. I don't think I called replace anywhere in there, did I? So that must mean that we have an empty string, or not an empty string, but something that should be a string that's not a string. Oh. Gotcha. Let me go into was answering a question on GitHub discussion about how to minify HTML responses, or the edge response, and I think that is messing up this because it's happening within that middleware. So let me try. No, still no. Try refreshing then. Okay. No, still does not like that. Okay. I doubt the network tab's going to tell me anything here, but we'll try. Yeah, figured not. All right. So we're not getting back an individual error anymore now that we've gotten rid of the minification of the HTML. And it specifically says that it does not like the encoding. No root element found. Pretty sure I have everything set up the way that it currently is on the other one. So let's break it down. Let's get rid of the try catch. Let's let our error come to. So the response header should be happening up here, setting that to application XML. That looks correct. And then we have the content encoding, which is specifically what it says it does not like, setting it to gzip. So what if we get rid of that gzip encoding header? Okay, so now it's not well formatted, so we're getting a different type of error. I think probably the error that's causing the gzip error. So from there, could be that it could be a cached issue. All right, we're just not getting anything. So let's make sure that we're getting back some URLs. URLs are what we expect them to be. That's a lot of console logs there. All right, so I'm gonna scroll up to the top to make sure. Let's see. So it's a, yeah, I mean, that all looks right. The only reason that it's in a root object is because I console logged it that way, so that should be correct. Try to console log that out. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And let's see what we get now. A whole lot of nothing. All right. Well. Doubt that would do anything. Yeah, I figured. All right. So it's definitely something in how the XML is being generated because the underlying URLs look correct. I wonder if maybe I installed the wrong. Well, no, because that auto did that auto import wrong? No, that looks right. Well. I don't know. I guess let's go take a look at that Sitemaps documentation, see if anything's changed. Maybe I had a rewrite or something. So up to here it looks correct, and then we get down to this stream to promise return where it calls readable from stream. But you would think we should just be able to directly return back the response.stream. I wonder if maybe I need to. I don't think that's right, but yeah. All right. Let's see here. Let's take a look at their full example. All right, so you can see we're matching everything up through here. We're creating the gzip. That looks correct. We're writing our URLs. We're just mapping over them instead of doing it line by line. could try this. Yeah, why don't we try that? So instead of doing this for the cache, we'll stream to promise. And then instead of doing that, we'll just return sitemap, and then up here we'll change sitemap from a const to a let. Give that a save. Not well formatted. Okay. So now that we should have something within there to take a look at, let's see if we can take a look at maybe the structure of it. Oh my, yeah, okay. It's encoded. At this point, I'm pretty much just guessing. What? I don't even know where that would be coming from. Well, something funky is going on then, huh? Let's see, we still have the console log in there, but I'm... Yeah, okay. Well, so hold on a minute. That doesn't make any sense because you're not like awaiting it. Well, that's taking its time. That probably means something's wrong. I'm going to go ahead and just stop that so it's not continuously running there. I don't know. I mean, we pretty much are matching what this is doing. I'm going to go ahead and do a sanity check here. Let's see here. Let's see. Update history maybe. So I'm probably on 7.1.1. Yep. Let's see what version we were on here. Keep that one open. Seven point zero. Okay. Let's take a look at the specific version. Yeah, 7.0.0 on the dot. So I'm going to go ahead and npm uninstall. I'm going to stop this so it doesn't cause much errors. Sitemap. Okay, npm I sitemap. Specific version. Okay, let's get this back back to how I had it initially. I am going to go ahead and leave the cached version off. Okay, let's try that. Let's see if maybe it's a version issue or something. Yep, yeah, that works. Okay, so I'll just roll with the 7.00 version. And because we were following their documentation for the 7.1.1, pretty much how they had it. Nothing changed here from the previous version, so maybe it's out of date. I don't know. But yeah, so this is the underlying, this is what we wanted. So we have our URL set with the URL, the location, change frequency, priority for the homepage set to 1, and then everything from there goes to 0.8. And then for posts, we go to 0.3. And then for series actual lists, it lists them all out. So we have in alphabetical order all of our series. Oh, okay. So one thing I do need to take care of is I have modules coming through. So whenever I create a module, I've got a couple in here that are just like, they get default names, and there's a couple I haven't changed to make it evident that, you know, I have a module populating somewhere. And so these, your new collection are modules. So modules would be an item within a specific, so here, let me go to localhost 3333, within a specific series. So if I were to go into our Let's Learn Adonis series, we have modules. So here you have lesson 1.0, that's module 1, or 0 if you're going index based. And then you go to 2, that's another module. So all of these lessons are bound to those specific modules, and that's probably a little bit more easier to highlight if I were to go into the actual collection here. So let's see, let's learn. So you have the individual modules over here. So you have like a module for introduction, routing, controllers, and then each module then gets the lesson, or the collection as a whole can get the lesson set as we are with, I think, like the bouncer series and all that. So here you can see there are no modules. It's just straight direct posts. So I want to do a specific check within here where we're populating our data. Let's go ahead and get this back to how we had it here. So let's put our try catch back in here. Let's do our caching. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that comment, clean that up a little bit. And let's go into our syndication service. And within here, we want to do an additional where. No. Parent ID. I'm going to go ahead and break this down as well. Make it a little bit more readable. Should be doing that for all of them. But we'll just do it for that one for right now. And so now if we refresh, we're back to a content encoding error. Okie dokie. It's probably using the old cache. I need to figure out how I can clear my cache. Get a GUI in here or something for it. Yeah, so it's the cache version is using the broken. And so now you can see within our, so now we're in the topics instead of series. So within the series, now it's all just root level series, and it doesn't have any of those modules within it, which is correct because you can't directly link to a module. Well, you can, but not within this sense. It's like a hash link to the actual series page. So wouldn't be good to have in here. And then we got all of our topics. You can see that the subtopics are in there as well. And then it goes into the lessons. And then we don't have any blog posts, but those would be last if they were in here. And so there we go. And so the last thing that I would need to do is check and make sure that all of the lessons are in here. But I'll worry about that later. I won't drag you guys through that. So last thing to do would be to make sure that the cache is working. And that we are setting the cache to a specific time that we want this to do. So within here, let's go ahead and set this to have a time to life of 86,400. It's either 24 or 48 hours. That's the best I got. I'm using the old number that I had on the previous site there. So, yeah, so that should cache it for that long. And then once that happens, it will clear that cached item out. And then it will come back through and recache it. And so at this point, we need to clear out the actual cache version. And I don't think I have a Redis. I don't know the CLI for Redis that well. So let me see if I can find one real quick. So Mac Redis GUI. Come on. All right, I'll tell you what, I'll help you out. What was that? MUI? Oh, now you want, okay, go ahead. There we go. All right, you gotta click it twice. Oh boy. Oh man, yeah, I haven't cleared this out in a while. Go ahead and delete you. And so now if we come back into here and refresh, it should work. And there we go. So let me double check. I did uncomment the cache. Yes. Okay. And so now if we were to refresh this, let's get rid of bool stuff. Come back down here. We do have this, and it is now properly cached. So that seems to be working okay. And you can see it's formatted as gzip and all that fun stuff. So we can test this once more by adding a post, and then we can do a search for that post to ensure it's not in there, and then we clear the cache. So this is a test. All right, we'll leave all that stuff empty. We'll put this in here as, let's have it published as yesterday. And okay, nothing else. Let's go ahead and publish it. It should show up on the home page. Doesn't have an image, so it'll be down here. Okay. And so now if we refresh this, bollocks. Why? All right, let's clear the cache out again. It probably has something to do with, let's see. Let's try streaming it instead of sending it. I don't know. I think before I had said, oh, you know what? It could be that I'm directly returning the response.send. Pardon my dog. So let's kick that return off onto another line and test that. Nope, that wouldn't it. Let's confirm that it is just a caching issue thing here. Yep. All right. So I guess let's see what we are getting back from this. there, it would be down here. Yeah, so it's definitely an issue in either how it's being cached or how I'm responding from the cache. And that does not look like a proper just send it back response there. Which is weird because it should be correct. Alrighty then. Yeah, so it's definitely not, it's just a string. All right. It could be, so I matched what I have before. It could be a difference between, so prior I was using Node Cache, and in this app I'm using Redis. So it could be a difference with that as well. Let's see, switch that back to a buffer. Let me get rid of this. Let's see what the raw response is. Let's try that. get rid of the cache. What's the raw response there? Nothing. Did I switch that back to a stream? Yes. Okay. Was looking to see whether or not it would match. Peculiar. All right, well. Just does not want to work for me. Oh, okay. I left that in there. That could be part of the issue, I guess, maybe. Oh, and it downloaded it. All right, let's open that up. I don't know why Sublime is. Yeah, so that looks. All right. Well, I don't know. I'll have to play around with that and see. And if I figure it out, I will put that down into the comments. It could be something with the package. It could be, I don't know. Is what we have definitely matches what I was using prior. Oh, it's over here. And this works just fine. Unless maybe the cache always came back empty. I don't know. Either way, I don't have enough information in there to where like not using the cache would take a super long time. So can always just leave it as this for right now. Oh, and all right, let's see. I took out the headers, didn't I? I sure did. So what we could, it could be, maybe we need to just rebuild the pipeline again and just send it down that way. Well, guess then it would already be gzip. It wouldn't make any sense to do that, though, would it? I guess we could always just cache the underlying URL structure. Wouldn't be crazy about that though, but it would be something. So then that would look like this. We would have this would be in here as well. So, well, no, that wouldn't be. And then we would have. Let's try that. Okay. Yeah, so there it didn't even get to the caching part. So URLs might have came back with something somehow, even though I deleted cache. Oh, well, yeah, that. Alrighty. Ah, there we go. Okay. Didn't like how I had it. And so now that should be, I'll have to play around and see if I can get it working how I had it before, to where the underlying like actual XML structure was cached. But this would be better than nothing, at least having all of the database query stuff cached. So long as that's pulling in okay, then I'd be happy. So let's see if we can get rid of these. They shouldn't be in there anyway. And then come back in here and let's make sure that this all works okay still, including information from the cache. So let's refresh again. And it doesn't. It's probably because it's coming through as a string at that point. If I can, yeah. So I need a parse. So what I will do is let's rename this to cache sitemap URLs and get cached map URLs. Okay. No? Oh, can't spell return right. There we go. No? Oh, wait. No? Wait. Do I need to wait? Yes, you do. Oh, that could be the whole freaking issue. Was I waiting in here? Yeah, okay. Well, then never mind. I think you have something. All right, so there we go. So we'll get the item from the cache and then we'll parse it and we'll return this back as a parsed item. And then we'll do just a simple stringify. Nope, not on the cache key, on the cache item. And so this will be URLs, URL or sitemap item array. Okay, so now that will stringify and parse it for us. And we need to change our names to get cached sitemap URLs and cache sitemap URLs. Prefix that was set. Okay, so set cache sitemap URLs. We can get rid of this JSON.stringify. We'll make that a little bit cleaner. And then get cached sitemap URLs. Okie dokie. Then we should be all right to just get rid of that line altogether. Save this. Give it another go. All right, that seems to have worked. Seems to still be working. Let's try deleting the cache. There we go. All right, so yeah, the underlying issue was something to do with the buffers, which I really probably don't understand well enough to get into. So this is a better way for me anyway. So it's caching the underlying URLs. So here we have the sitemap. So you can see now we're not caching the end XML result, but instead we're caching just the underlying database information that's queried, and then repopulating the actual stream and streaming that off as the response. So the heavy lifting is still being cached off. We're just rebuilding the XML format for each request, which isn't too big of a deal for this size of a site. So, all right, took a bit longer than I was hoping, but we got the end result at the end of the day anyway, so yay. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. I'll try to stream in between now and the whenever I get back into my regular posting schedule, which should be the first week of May. So I'll try to do a couple of streams in between then and now. The last week of April is probably going to be pretty quiet. Well, no. Yeah, the last week of April will probably be pretty quiet for me. I probably won't stream that weekend because that's the actual weekend I'm moving. So, yeah. So I will see